My name is Christine Gale, not Gale Christine. I'm not really sure why Blackboard decided to flip my name around. I also didn't take the time to go and figure out how to change it. See, I may be a little young, but I'm still pretty technologically challenged. Okay, now before I get super hardcore judged right now, I just wanted to say that I haven't really read a book in about 3 years for fun anyway. And that's partly because of all the organizations and school and work that I'm involved in, and it's just I haven't really had too much time. And I also don't have a book bucket list that I can pull from. So I made it a point this summer to read some new books. However, I am a little out of touch with books that are more appropriate for my age, since previously I've only been really reading young adult fiction. So if you're so inclined to do so, you can leave some suggestions in the comments below, just so I could get a list started. P.S. This is kind of the reason why I took this class. I know, shameless plug. So currently, my favorite book is The Hunger Games. And yes, I am one of those people who watched the movie first and then decided to read the book. Don't hate me, I know. But yeah, no, I really quite enjoyed the book, and the reason I wanted to read it is because I wanted to see what the differences are between the movie and the book, and I found out there are quite a few differences. So for those who don't know what The Hunger Games is about, it's basically about Katniss Everdeen, who is the main character. She's the one speaking through the book, and she volunteers as tribute in place of her sister for this big thing called the Hunger Games, where the 12 districts, they pick 2 tributes and they all fight to the death, and there's one winner at the end. And so Katniss takes the place of her sister, and she goes to the capital, where they are put into this arena, people with 24 people in total, and then they fight to the death. It's really interesting that you see the interactions. It's really cool because you see the interactions that Katniss has with the other tributes while they're training, and it's really interesting how they all interact. And so, yeah, so that's basically what it is. And it's a first-person novel, so you're seeing her personal reactions to the things that are going on, and what she thinks about certain people, and how she plans on surviving and becoming, the overall winner of the Hunger Games. So on to some of these questions. Of all the books written in the English language, why this one? Good question. Well, I like the Hunger Games because I like the first person perspective. I like seeing what people are thinking as certain things are happening, and it's kind of cool because she keeps saying, I see this, I do this, I blah blah blah, and I really like that you kind of get that personal experience, an authentic experience with having a first person novel, and I really like that about the book. I also really like the family dynamic in this, like how Katniss volunteers as tribute for her sister. She really shows that she loves her sister, and she's willing to die for her, basically. And I really like that aspect of it. You kind of see that personality throughout the book with Katniss, how she is protective over another tribute in the games. So on to the second question. What is the most intense moment of the novel? Well, the whole thing really is a huge, intense moment, where you're going from the tribute picking session, and then you're going to the training session at the Capitol, where you're learning how to kill people, you're learning your skills, getting keen on all of the skills that you need to survive. Then you're in the Hunger Games, where you're seeing people killed and seeing how people come together and stuff like that. And then at the end, people are dying, and then there's victor. So really the whole thing is really very intense. But if I had to pick one intense moment that kind of stood out to me is the end. And spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie or haven't read the book, It's when Katniss and Peeta are against their enemy, Cato, and it's just them three, and Cato is trying to get to them, and then, they all, Cato eventually dies, and so then it's just Peeta and Katniss, and so they're from the same district, so they came together on this journey, and so throughout the story there's kind of a love thing between them. And what I thought was really intense about that scene is the fact that she gets these berries that are poisonous, and they, instead of there only being one victor, they decide that there's not going to be any victors. So they kind of go into like this intense moment where like, okay, well, I'm gonna eat the berries, and then Katniss is like, no, I'm gonna eat the berries. We're just gonna eat the berries together, and we're both gonna die. And so you kind of see like this really intense moment there, and then all of a sudden there's the whole game stops, and like the game maker, he's like, okay, both of you guys are good. You guys are both victors. Congratulations, blah blah blah. And then they both get shipped off. And that's basically the end of the book. And that was very intense. It was like a very intense last couple pages, and I thought that was a really cool way to end the book. Of course, after that, I really wanted to read the next book, and that's kind of how they always want it to be. Okay, so the last question is, why does this book resonate with you personally? I think the reason this book resonates with me personally is because of that, sisterly love that Katniss has for her sister, willing to die for her sister, and go through these hardships of the Hunger Games, in place of her sister having to go through that sort of struggle. And I thought that was really sweet. Like, that kind of is a really good message, since I have a younger sister as well, and she may be a pain in the butt sometimes, but I definitely do anything for her, and that's kind of why I liked how this book kind of shows what you would do for your loved ones, and how you would be able to overcome certain things, because you really want to not impress, but you really want to show your love for that person, and that's the reason why the book resonated with me. So unfortunately, I don't have a copy of the book with me at the moment, but I do have it online. So I will read you a passage from the book to set the scene. Basically what's going on is that Primrose Everdeen, which is Katniss's sister, just gets called, and this is the second chapter of the book. So, one time when I was in a blind in a tree, waiting motionless for game to wander by, I dozed off and fell 10 feet to the ground, landing on my back. It was as if the impact had knocked every wisp of air from my lungs, and I lay there struggling to inhale, to exhale, to do anything. That's how I feel now, trying to remember how to breathe, unable to speak, totally stunned as a name bounces around the inside of my skull. Someone is gripping my arm, a boy from the seam, and I think maybe I start to fall and he caught me. There might have been some mistakes. This can't be happening. Prim was one slip of paper in thousands. Her chances of being chosen so remote that I'd never even bothered to worry about her. Hadn't I done everything? Taken the tesserae, refused to let her do the same? One slip in the thousands. The odds had been entirely in her favor, but it hadn't mattered. Somewhere far away, I can hear the crowd murmuring, unhappily as they always do when a 12-year-old gets chosen, because no one thinks this is fair. And then I see her, the blood drained from her face, hands clenched and fists at her side, walking with stiff, small steps up toward the stage, passing me, and I see the back of her blouse has become untucked and hangs out over her skirt. It's this detail, the untucked blouse forming a ducktail, that brings me back to myself. Prim! The strangled cry comes out of my throat, and my muscles begin to move again. Prim! I don't need to shove through the crowd. The other kids make way immediately, allowing me a straight path to the stage. I reach her just as she is about to mount the steps. With one sweep of my arm, I push her behind me. I volunteer, I gasp. I volunteer as tribute. There's some confusion on the stage. District 12 hasn't had a volunteer in decades, and the protocol has become rusty. The rule is that once a tribute's name has been pulled from the ball, another eligible boy, if a boy's name has been read, or girl, if a girl's name has been read, can step forward to take his or her place. In some districts, in which winning the reaping is such a great honor, people are eager to risk their lives. The volunteering is complicated. But in District 12, where the word tribute is pretty much synonymous with the word corpse, volunteers are all but extinct. Lovely, said Ivy Trinket, but I believe that's a small matter of introducing the reaping winner and then asking for volunteers. And if one does come forth, then she trails off, unsure of herself. What does it matter, says the mayor. He's looking at me with a pained expression on his face. He doesn't know me really, but there's a faint recognition there. I'm the girl who brings the strawberries. The girl his daughter might have spoken of on occasion. The girl who 5 years ago stood huddled with her mother and sister as he presented her, the oldest child, with a Medal of Valor. A medal for her father, vaporized in the mines. Does he remember that? What does it matter, he repeats gruffly. Let her come forward. Prim is screaming hysterically behind me. She wrapped her skinny arms around me like a vice. No, Katniss, no, you can't go. Prim, let go, I say harshly, because this is upsetting me and I don't want to cry. When they televise the replay of the reapings tonight, everyone will make note of my tears, and I'll be marked as an easy target, a weakling. I will give no one that satisfaction. Let go. I can feel someone pulling her from my back. I turn and see Gale has lifted Prim off the ground, and she's thrashing in his arms. Up you go, Catnip, he says, in a voice he's fighting to keep steady, and then he carries Prim off toward my mother. I steel myself and climb the steps. Well, bravo, gushes Ivy. That's the spirit of the games. She's pleased to finally have a district with a little action going on in it. What's your name? I swallow hard. Katniss Everdeen, I say.